Well, thank you for coming on the red carpet round table. Can you let everybody know what got you into the entertainment industry?
Ah, okay. Hi, my name is Abigail Fawn, and I'm from Tennessee originally, and both my parents are musicians, so I just kind of grew up in the arts, singing in choirs and on stage and stuff. And yeah, one day I was doing theater my whole life, and I was like, I'm gonna move to Los Angeles. And my parents were like, what? And then I didn't know anyone. I had never really left the South. And then yeah, I moved out here, and now
And,
I'm an actor. So
and here you are being an actress. I'm just really curious, what really made you go into this direction to be an actress?
um I kind of when I started, I was only a singer and a dancer. And I was getting work through that, in the Southeast and in school and whatever. And then acting was something that I kind of had to do because like when you're singing you have to act, when you're performing, when you're dancing you have to act, and it was never something that I thought of myself doing. And then after a few years of acting, just like circumstantially because I wanted to sing and dance on stage, I was like, wait, this is fun. And so then I started auditioning for like films and other stuff that were where I was only acting because I wanted to
Hmm.
kind of exercise that muscle and challenge myself in a different way. And yeah, it was fun. It was kind of the only thing that I knew about. Like I didn't grow up doing much else. Just was on stage and was performing, and so yeah. But I like acting now a lot more than I used to.
So you didn't,
Um,
if you mind me saying, you didn't
mm,
used to like acting?
yeah, not like in those terms. That sounds really harsh, but yeah, it was just something that I felt like I had to do rather than something that now I feel like I get to do. Um, but yeah, I really like acting now, but I didn't not that I didn't like it. It was just that it wasn't my main focus. I was like, oh, I want to go sing on stage. I should
Hmm.
probably act this song rather than now every day get up
So
and go
if
act.
you mind me saying, you were nervous becoming an actress, being on screen, if that's how I'm coming sense
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, definitely like my first few projects, which I watch back now and they're not very good. But like when I was first doing exclusively acting because I had no crutch. I wasn't singing, I wasn't dancing, I had no crutch that I could do something else. It was just emotions, whatever. Um, so yeah, yeah, definitely my first few things, I was quite nervous and I don't think were very good. But I've definitely learned, I've taken class now and I've really experienced it all. And I kind of, I feel like I know a lot more now.
And you said you did theater, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, I was theater. I grew up doing theater, just like small local stuff, and then I went to school for it. I trained in it, and then yeah, I did a few like professional theaters, like Southeast kind of
Hmm.
there, and then yeah, it wasn't until COVID I even considered doing anything else, and it took a few years to fully transition into film, obviously, but when I we weren't performing at all, I was like, well, what else can I do? And if it's not like in front of like on a stage, and I started doing a little film then, and then I really switched over to film in like 2023.
Hmm. And I gotta ask, now you're doing on screen,
Yeah.
what do you feel like, excuse me, tongue twisting, do you feel like theater made you more confident now being on screen? Because I know a lot of beginner actors and actresses, they say, some of them will say this, they highly recommend doing theater to get yourself not so nervous because you're speaking in front of the audience. So they feel like that if you make a mistake, it's like you continue, but like on screen, it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it. Maybe you can
Yeah,
go in detail. So, what's
yeah,
your
I
personal
understand what you're
journey?
saying. I feel like because on set it feels very sterile, the whole cast, not cast, well, you're the people in the scene with you, and then the crew is all there watching, and it's just like a, action after everyone's set. and it can feel very like boom, everyone's watching you. And so if you're not used to that, it's crazy. I mean, even growing up on stage, my first few times on a film set, when everyone's talking, and suddenly set action, you're it's crazy because there's so many people behind the camera actively watching you, and it kind of feels like a live performance every take. Obviously not to hundreds of people, but to tens of them at least. So it's like more than you would think, and so it's definitely nerve-wracking in that regard. And I feel like you were saying, like the experience of knowing how to keep it going on on a stage can help with those nerves, even though on set you do have the freedom to be like, wait, can I do that again? And it's usually fine.
Yeah.
But it's like there's
Um,
more leniency with that for sure.
that is so interesting because theater you make a mistake and you just continue because I mean all the other cast continues on as of course and
Yeah.
but the audience don't realize you or anybody else make a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, theater you definitely always have to keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah. Film, you can make more mistakes sometimes.
Wow. And now, of course, now into your acting, you were in the sorority, the hazed wrong girl. That was,
Oh, that just came out. Yes.
yes. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it, but if you
Yeah.
are, what drew you to play your character on this set? And
I
if anybody has not seen it, not to spoil, what can you tell the audience a little bit about it? And what do you hope the viewers and the fans and your followers and everybody else who's watching this, what do you hope they learn by watching this?
Oh, what an interesting question. Well, what really drove me to it initially it was just the director. I'd worked with her before and I love her. And so I was like, perfect, great project. Like I'll work with her again. But the script itself is more interesting because it's not a typical vertical in that there's no like romance, there's no intimacy within it. It's all about me and the relationship with my brother. And then I'm starting college, and his current girlfriend, the queen of the sorority, sees a picture of us hugging and assumes that we're dating,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
decides to attack me for it. But I think, you know, whatever happens between us happens, and then at the end, of course, my brother and I get our revenge in a sort of way on the people who wronged me. And I think a great takeaway from after you watch it is, maybe don't make assumptions about things you don't know about. Because if she had just spoken to me or had a normal conversation with me, none of that would have ever happened. But it did. But of course, Vanessa is who played that character, and she's great. I've worked with her a lot. So she's nothing like her character,
She's
but
nothing.
she's not mean like that at all. She's very kind. But so it's very fun to kind of be on a set and to be like laughing in between
Hmm.
takes and then go right into it, and you're like fighting. So,
Right. And where can the viewers can watch it?
oh, it's on Drama Box. It's on
Okay.
Dropbox exclusive. Great.
Okay. Just want to let that everybody know out there as well. And now, of course, I looked at your IMDb. You played so many roles. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And so I could name so many of them. And by the way, congratulations, everything you're doing and the success you're doing. And
Thank
I
you.
gotta ask, did you like you said, you came from theater
Hmm.
and you were nervous being on screen. Did
Yeah.
you ever saw yourself being in so many roles and being on screen and being, if you mind me saying this, successful all the way up till now? Like, did you see yourself, or what did you see yourself, if you may asking? The floor
Yeah.
is yours.
Yeah. I always wanted to do music, and that's actually what I thought I was gonna do full time. And that I would just do movies like intermittently, kind of just when they came up. But yeah, when I moved to Los Angeles, I had no friends, no job. I didn't know a soul. I was just like, let's go. I came out here by myself. I met some random girls off Facebook Marketplace and got in an apartment with them. Crazy. They were kind. But it was, but like, and I just needed to do something. So I started auditioning for everything. I did a few PSAs actually first, which aren't on my IMDb, but I was just PSA, but I was just kind of like a victim for a little bit. I was like, it was a domestic violence PSA, and then it was like a self-harm PSA, and then it was like a sex trafficking PSA, and I was like, why am I being like typecast as a victim right now? But that's why I did when I first moved out here. And
That's
then I
so
started
horrible.
doing, I know, it was crazy. I was like, what is it about me that looks victim right now? But I think it was just because I was so like new to LA's and so scared, and I think it was really coming through in all my
They
auditions.
just want to say, let's give it to her and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
um,
just sorry, don't mean to cut. Crazy
yeah, no,
question
no.
because a lot of young actresses out there, and especially male and kids and teenagers and even adults, they must be thinking, and this is mainly for young kids and teenagers who may be following you, social media, or, trying to figure this out. What made you do this crazy idea to go from your hometown to go across, I'm going to say halfway the United States to Los Angeles? What really drew that decision? And gotta ask, what did your parents think? They thought, if I'm just gonna say, they probably thought you were nuts, but
No,
what really
yeah.
drew you and
Mm.
motivated you to this? Like, you know what? I'm going to LA to continue pursuing my acting compared to all others like Chicago or Atlanta or New York. The floor is
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah, but was I started, like I said, theater, we talked about that. So all my friends were moving to New York. And at first I was like, "Oh, I'll go to New York too." And then I was like, "Wait, no, like I really want to focus more on music. I'll move to Nashville because I'm from Tennessee, but I'm from East Tennessee, like closer to like the Dolly Parton capital of the world, not not the hub of Nashville." But then I was really thinking about it, and California, like Los Angeles, had always been very intriguing to me. And I dare say that watching Hannah Montana growing up really inspired that as well because you just see her like living her best LA life, and she's on stage and she's a singer, and I was like,
Right.
that's me, like that that's what I want to do.
By the way, did you see the Hannah Montana special?
Yes. Ah,
I
love.
gotta ask, since you brought it up, what did
Yeah.
you think?
Okay, love. Of course, I wish more people were there, but I get it. Schedules are hard. But I loved seeing Miley. I thought it was super fun. But yeah, so I almost moved to New York, and then I was like, no, I don't want to just do theater, and New York's more theater.
Hmm.
And then I was like, I could move to Nashville, that's safer. But I was like, no, I've always wanted to do LA. And if now's the time, like I have nothing really tying me down right now,
Hmm.
because I had no full-time job. I, just graduated, and I was like, what can I do? I'm the freest I'll ever be right now. So I was like, let me go the furthest away, and then I can bring it back closer to home later if I need to. So that was kind of my why I did it, because you can always backstep. You can always go back home, but there's really only a certain window of time where you're really untethered in
Mm.
life. Like I wasn't in a serious relationship. I had no job tying me down. I just graduated, so all my friends were dispersing. So really that was the freest I had felt. And so I was
So
like,
you
okay,
basically,
let's go.
so you basically just packed your stuff and went.
Yeah, I did. I packed my car at the time. I had a 2008 Honda CR-V, and I packed it as full as I could of all my things. And my dad and I drove it across the country, which is about 3,000 miles. It took us 3 days. It was great fun, and yeah. And then I've been here since. That was like 2 years ago.
That's crazy. So I gotta ask, since you and your dad did the road trip, was
Mm-hmm.
there ever in your moment, I mean, you probably talked out loud, maybe not. Was there ever a moment that you were like, am I doing the right thing? Am I making a mistake? Did you think of that while you're doing the road trip? I'm just really curious
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's a big risk. You're driving across town, you know,
yeah,
were you having a conversation in your brain or were you talking to your dad about it? Like, what was your thinking? Because I know a lot of people, and I could be wrong, a lot of people be thinking like, oh my goodness, am I making a mistake? I'm taking a chance. And if you mind me
yeah,
saying this, if you had friends there or not, some people are like, I'm moving somewhere, I have no friends, I don't know what I'm
yeah.
doing. Oh my goodness. So like for you, Abigail, what was going through your mind and what was motivating you to saying, no, I'm gonna keep going. Oh wait, no, I need to turn around. I don't think I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
What was going through?
I was definitely nervous. I definitely cried leaving, my dog that my parents have in Tennessee and leaving my parents because it just felt so safe. But as I just said, it was the most untethered I was ever going to be. And so I knew, and my parents are very, very kind people. And so even though they were nervous for me, they were very supportive because like I said, they're both musicians, like they're in the arts, they get it. And I knew that if things started going terribly in Los Angeles, I could always just go back home and try again. But I knew I had to try because I knew I wanted to go. And so I knew I had to try. As nervous as I felt and as much as I did want to turn around, I knew that I would regret it later on if I
That
didn't
is
at
so
least
true.
try. So that's why I stayed. And of course, it was rough the first few months. I had no
Right.
friends, I had no job. I was just here. Which, yeah, but
And if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been in LA now?
I've been in LA 2 years.
Okay. And you enjoying it now and everything? No regrets?
Yeah, no regrets. I do verticals full time, very fun. I've moved since my original house. And it's everything's good now. Everything's great.
Yeah, that's good. If you mind me asking, what challenge pushed you to grow more in your career?
Um, Honestly, I think once I started booking the verticals more frequently, I think that fast pace, because they're already filmed pretty fast, and then they're filming so many of them, you go back to back on projects all the time. And they're 8 to 10 day shoots, and there was a time where I was doing three a month, and with 12-hour days, 8, 10 day shoots with like your fitting day or your rehearsal day, that's almost every day. And it's like, and that to me made me like really lock in and focus and figure out what I need to do to take care of myself, what I need to do on set to be better all the time. Um, when I can find moments to have a break and
Hmm.
calm down. But yeah, and then in the in-between time, making sure you don't lose anything. So you're still like working out or like watching stuff or focusing on like your craft, like acting, like
Hmm.
what you need to do to be better, because you can always be better. And
Yes.
so yeah, I feel like yeah, working all the time and getting notes on set all the time about what this person thinks I should do or what this person thinks I should
Hmm.
do. It's like you're hearing like, okay, let me take it back to the drawing board, like try again and really
Mm,
focus on that. But I
right.
feel like the frequency of the work is what really pushed me to get better because yeah, yeah.
I totally understand. Now, was there something that you struggled with early on and then you mastered now?
Um, I think perhaps the like quick memorization of it all. I've always had like a loose photographic memory, sure. Like I can look at something and remember it. But I think the frequency when you're filming like 15 pages a day, to look at all that the night before, remember it, and then go in. As like when I was first doing it, I was really nervous I was gonna mess up. So I was spending like a lot of time every night, like making sure I knew my lines. And now I can just kind of read it and remember it the next day, and I don't have to like focus. Obviously, I'm still, I've read the script before, like I know what's going on. I've focused on my lines, but I don't have to like try as hard to remember my lines. I
Hmm.
can just remember them a lot faster now, and that was something that I felt like I struggled with at the beginning.
And my follow-up question, what is the skill that helped you more become better at in acting?
The what that helped me
The
become
skills, what helped you
skills?
memorize the lines?
I don't know. I think just the repetition of it, honestly. Because once I started doing verticals, I started doing them several a month and then whatever, whatever. And so it's like, I feel like just the repetition of having to do that every single day, eventually, it's just, you got it. It's like, you do that with anything. You do anything enough, it's going to become easier. And that's what happened.
And that is true. Now, I want to talk about auditions. You know, a
Hmm.
lot of people struggle with auditions. What was your story with auditions? How did you handle with all the, I'm just going to say, all the no's until you
Yeah.
got the yes? Like, what's your story?
Yeah, well, at first I think they really got to me, especially when you're first starting out and you're auditioning for like tons of stuff every day. And I'm not like the major. I'm still starting out, obviously. Like I still audition for lots of things, but especially when I had nothing, no credits to my name, and I was just auditioning, and then you wouldn't hear something for a lot of them, and a few of them would reach out like months later and be like, "Thank you so much for auditioning. We decided to go in a different direction." And you're like, "I forgot I auditioned for this, and you went out of your way to reject me now." And it's like that honestly hurt more because I was like, "Why'd you have to say that?" But as long as there's like a yes in there, or you find other
Hmm.
ways to remind yourself that you're more than an actor, like you're more than your work, which is something I still struggle with now. But the moments where I can find stuff that I can do to bring me joy, then it's good. Because, just like in life, people are going to like you, people are not going to like you, and you can't control that. And you just have to let it go. You choose to take in what you take in, and you choose to ignore what you ignore. And so it's yeah. I mean, the constant no's suck, but everyone gets no's every day of their life.
Yes.
So it is what it is.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, what's the most funniest or the most embarrassing audition you ever done?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like I've done a lot of unfortunate ones. Um, but maybe when I was still living in Tennessee, I was auditioning for a lot of commercials, and there was one that needed a dog. And like I said, my parents have a dog. His name's Oliver. He's a yellow lab. He's great. But I was like, oh, perfect. I'll bring him on to my audition, and he'll make it better. And he just like wasn't locking in, okay? He's obviously not trained to be a stage dog, so he didn't know what was going on. But I was like, Oliver, you have to look at the camera or I'm not gonna get this. And then he wasn't looking, but I still turned it in, and then I didn't get it. And I was like, it's Oliver's fault. Truly, I've watched that audition back later, and I think it was my fault. I just didn't do very well, which is fine. But at the time, I was like so upset because I was like, Oliver doesn't know what to do, and he's costing me this audition, which isn't true. A few days later, I actually submitted an audition for Chick-fil-A in a commercial I did get, but I'm eating like Skinny Pop popcorn in the audition instead of like Chick-fil-A fries. And I also think that's funny because it was like same timeline where I was just using a lot of props in my auditions. It was like my prop era for some reason.
You still can't be mad at your dog though.
No, never. No. Oliver's amazing. I miss him all the time. Um,
At first you were, right?
yeah. Well, yes.
Well, you said yes, and you said what?
Well, but it was short-lived because I was like, Oliver cost me this audition, but then of course you get other auditions, you get other jobs,
Hmm.
and it's fine. And it really wasn't his fault; it was mine. And obviously, and also he didn't need to be there. Like I just chose to bring him into the audition. It did not ask for that. So,
Uh, now, was there a one decision in that career that left you a long-lasting impact?
um, a decision I made, like I don't know. I feel like a few of the verticals I did early on, really shaped my perspective of
Hmm.
the industry because I feel like they're their own subsection. Like you can do feature films, you can do commercials, you can do theater, but then verticals are a new like lane, truly. And so one that I didn't quite understand until I had done 15, I like really got a handle on what it was. And I feel like there were a few where I had, more interesting experiences where maybe things didn't go the way I thought. And I was like, oh, okay, let me take a step back and really view this for what it is and then reevaluate and move on. But nothing terrible. That sounded really ominous, but like, yeah, yeah, like,
Um, I want to ask you any upcoming projects that you're allowed to talk about?
oh, I mean, yes. I sometimes I change the titles. I have another drama box one coming out soon. It's with Aaron Oberst, who I've worked with before, and he's great. And then I have two more real short projects coming out that I just wrapped this month. I filmed them both in April. And they're one is with Mark Vega and one's with Mark Herman. So double Mark on real short coming soon. Yeah, but those were both fun. I've filmed a lot of fun ones recently. Um, yeah. Again, I'm not gonna say the titles because they change,
Yeah,
so
I understand. They keep
it could
changing.
not be true.
So,
But those are the co-stars, those are the apps. So
right, I totally understand.
yeah.
What's the best advice you ever heard or received?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like my parents just really encouraged me to be myself. Overall, like I said, they're both performers. They're both musicians. They know about the stage and everything, and they really encouraged me on stage. But they also, supported who I was and then encouraged me not to copy other people because
Hmm.
that's it's so easy to do, and I'm still guilty of it today, of like being like of the comparison game, whatever. I open Instagram and I'm like, and they're my friends, and I'm like, she looks great. I wish I was her. And then I'm like, whoa, she does look great, but you can also look great. Like
Hmm.
it's like
Hmm.
it's you don't have to play that game, but it's so easy to. And so I think when you just turn off your phone and you go down and you just like you have to focus on yourself. And I think my parents really helped instill that in
And
me.
that's how do you, my mind froze. That's so hard to do because we're so used to looking at our
Yeah,
phones and technology and life.
yeah,
You know what I'm trying to say because
yeah.
it happens to guys and girls. It's just it's in our habit, and you're
Mhm.
right. We just kind of have to like not look, but we're glued to it. You know, we are
Yeah.
glued to it.
Yeah, no, it's hard. I put a timer on my phone last week for Instagram because I was looking at it too much and I was getting sad. Like I had to stop it. I had to stop it. And I did. And I dare say this week I've been better. So
So now we need to put a timer on our Instagram.
it does, and it's so easy too, because it's on, an iPhone where you just click like ignore. You're like, oh, 15 more minutes or ignore time limit for today. So you have to be still disciplined because it's not like a fail safe, but it's helpful a little bit.
Ugh, that's so hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah, no, it's hard. It's hard.
Um, the most pivoted moment in your career.
Pivotal? I don't know. Probably when I moved out here, that really changed my trajectory of life. Because in Tennessee, I was only doing theater and I was only doing commercials, really. I'd done a few shorts, a few features, but nothing compared to the consistency of work that I have
Hmm.
now. So I feel like the choice to move out here and then just audition was what really changed everything for me. Just trying.
And what is your message for any young actors and actresses who want to follow your footsteps or who want to be in the entertainment industry?
Uh, to Just try. You never know until you try, because you might fail and you might get rejected, but it's okay. Because then you just do something else. Like you'll be okay. And I feel like that's something I was so nervous about growing up. as was hearing the no, or I'm a very anxious person, and so like going into a room of people I don't know. But it's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen?
Hmm.
Not to, it can't be that bad, okay? And if it is, just move states and try again. Like,
Move state and try
it'll
it
be
again.
okay. Like nothing's gonna change your life at one audition. Well, it could change it, but like negatively. Nothing negatively is gonna change your life
Hmm.
at one
You,
audition,
you
one
know,
party, one event.
ignore the native comments, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then so my follow-up question with that is what helps you with your mental health state? What keeps you going? And I know I'm a mental health advocate, so I'd like to ask
Mhm.
this question.
Yeah.
And it's very important because mental health is real.
Hmm.
And so for you, for your mental health and, speaking for yourself and may give a message for anybody else who's going to be listening to you or who's following you, what helped you, especially when you moved away from home and here you're in LA, especially when you're at home or now here you are in LA, what helped you with your mental health and kept you motivated and keep you going?
It's definitely finding things that remind me who I am, because I think it's very easy in the world where you're being filmed all the time or you're on social media all day long to forget who you are. And it's so finding things that I like to do, and in my moments of rest, hanging out with my friends and talking to them about unwork related things, or just, I don't know, going on a walk with your favorite drink in your hand and not scrolling on your phone, and just being you. I very much get caught up in that whole world, and I think it's
That is
good to breathe,
so true.
take space.
Being yourself and just enjoying
Yeah.
nature, enjoy the bird sound, whatever nature
Yeah.
to
And
help
it's so
you.
easy to get like overloaded. Like sometimes me, because I'm like, oh, I'll do what I always do and I'll just sit down and then think about what I want and then I'll do that and I'll feel better. But sometimes I feel so overwhelmed that I can't. Like I sit down and I'm like, I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even remember what I like right now. And then you just have to sit for longer, and you can't look at your phone, you can't distract yourself. It's so easy to numb those feelings with distractions. But you just have to sit with yourself until you remember what you like and what you want to do, and who you are. And
Wow.
it's hard, but it's
That is
help.
so powerful what you just said, Abigail. That is so true. Remember who you are.
Yeah,
Keep
it takes a
going.
while sometimes. Definitely. If you're caught up in a lot of work and you're really stressed, and you've been numbing all your feelings with talking to your friends about what you're feeling, or you're scrolling, or you're just ignoring it, then once you gotta just face it head on and just remember
That is so true, so
you're a
powerful.
person.
You know,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that and your story on here. And, it means a lot to tell your journey, what got you into the entertainment industry and here you are with your success. And so my last question is, what is your dream role? What do you hope to get? I mean, and then I guess that's not really the last question, but my follow-up is, who is your dream actor and actress you want to work with?
Oh, goodness. Um, well, like my dream role, I'll answer the first question, is like I really like fantasy and kind of like, I don't know, whimsical fairy. Like here, I've tried to build a fairy living room. That's what's behind me. And it's like I would love to live in a world that's more fantasy, anything like that. But then, as far as dream people to work with, I love Florence Pugh and I love Ariana Grande. Um, the idea of working with either one of them would be insane, but that's way in the future. I feel like that's something I couldn't handle right now. If tomorrow I was offered a role with one of them, I would implode. So in the future, one day I will work with one of them, and it'll be great. Or just meet them. I would die.
Yes. Now, where can everybody find you on social media?
I am on all platforms as Abigail.Fawn, Abigail dot Fawn on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, anywhere.
And before I let you go, have you seen any movies that you recommend in the theaters that you would that's out right now that you would
Ah,
recommend anybody to watch?
I wish I was literally. I'm an AMC A-lister, so I should be going to movies more, but I've been so busy lately I haven't. But I drove by. I went to ballet this morning, and I go to a studio up in Burbank, and I drove by an AMC on my way home, and I was like, ugh, I wish I was going to see the movie. So unfortunately, I have not gone to the movies in months, but I will soon, and I wish I had an answer for you. Um, but I love movies and I'll go soon. I've heard good things about the new Zendaya movie that came out. And I want to see that one with Emma Chamberlain and the fruit one with everyone. That one seems
I
good.
know what movie you're thinking about, but I can't. The title's not
Yeah.
coming to my head.
Forbidden Fruit, is it? Because it's with Lola Tong. It's with Lily Reinhart. Everyone always tells me I look a
Yeah,
lot like
I
Lily
you
Reinhart.
got me.
Is it?
I totally forgot.
Yeah, but I want to see that movie because it has all these people I like. So anyway.
Yeah, I definitely want to go see that movie. I want to go see the Michael Jackson movie.
Oh yeah, that one like just dropped.
Yeah, that one just
Yeah,
dropped. I heard great reviews. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so
yeah,
I'm just so you have to let me know if you want to go see it. So,
yeah.
well, thank you again. Like I said, I found you through Instagram. I'm following you. You have my support.
Thanks.
you're, it's amazing what you're doing, your career, and your journey. Because, I've looked at your Instagram and I looked at your IMDb. All the journey is going from your home state, going all the way to LA, and doing your career and following your dream is a testimony to any young actors and actresses out there who may not be in LA, but just to say, if Abigail can do it, I can do it too, to go and continue pursuing their dream and decision to be an actor. So what a
Yeah,
wonderful story, Abigail. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah. Thank you for having me. What a lovely
Yeah, thank
conversation.
you for coming on, and I definitely can't wait to speak with you again. I would love to have you back on.
Yeah. Let me do a few more projects. There's
Yes,
something
we'll
to talk about.
definitely stay connected, and I will email
Yeah.
you again and have you back on.
Lovely. Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Miss Abigail, and you have a great evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.